Hi, this is Melissa at the Stamping Ninja. I have a pretty birthday card for you today. This one is done in Pretty Peacock and Parakeet Party. Boy, too many P's there. And I really like the look, but I am also going to be doing one in Berry Burst instead of the Pretty Peacock. So this is what the card looks like in this color, and we are going to make one in Berry Burst that is just like it. So what you will need is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Berry Burst cardstock scored at 4 1/4. You're going to need a 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of the Delightful Floral DSP, which is a new online exclusive that just came out last week. You're going to need another piece of that DSP. This is the back of one of the pretty florals, which is 3 by 4. Another piece of Berry Burst cardstock, which is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. A scrap piece of Berry Burst and a scrap piece of white, a smaller one. Actually, you're going to need, take that back, a very large piece of basic white cardstock for your scrap because you got a lot of stamping to do here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to burnish our card base here with our bone folder so that we get a nice sharp line over here and that our card lays flat. So I'm just going to do the other side. It doesn't want to lay very flat, just like so. And then we are going to take this pretty piece of DSP here and adhere it to the front of the card. So I made it the same size as the card base because I didn't want it to have a frame around the outside. So it gives it a different look, covering the whole thing. And I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue so that you can slide it around just in case you don't get it on there evenly the first time. Gives you a little wiggle room. So there's that one. Next, we're going to adhere the smaller piece of DSP to the smaller piece of Berry Burst cardstock. And I don't know if you have seen this paper or have gotten this paper, but I just think the colors in it are so pretty. I think Berry Burst is one of my favorite colors, so it kind of makes it easy to like it. Once that's done, we're going to put this one right here in the middle of our card, nice and centered, like that, so that you have even spacing all the way around. Okay, now that that's done, we are going to do some stamping. And if you hear my cat in the background, I apologize. He likes to be the center of attention. Of course, I think we all kind of like that every now and then. But to stamp, you're going to need your Parakeet Party stamp pad and your Berry Burst. So I'm going to start with the Parakeet Party. You're going to stamp 3 of these very large leaf clusters in Parakeet Party. And this color is so bright. I gotta be honest, I wasn't really a fan of it. I like the older, retired Pear Pizzazz, but it's kind of growing on me. It has its place, and when you need a little pop of color, I'm gonna put this one down here. Save some of my paper. When you need a pop of color, it really works. So 3 of those. We're done with that. And moving on to our Berry Burst. You're going to stamp this large flower, Berry Burst, and then you're going to need this smaller flower here in Berry Burst. And then for these 3 little ones that I have over here, I'm going to use the Berry Burst, but I'm going to stamp off. So stamp off once. I want 2 of these double leaves and 1 of these single leaves. So we'll stamp off just like so. Get that out of the way. All right, so we're going to crop these out with our dies. And I have already done that, went ahead and cropped some out. So you should have 3 of these large leaves, the 2 flowers, and then the 3 little ones down there. So we are going to, make sure that's in there, adhere these to our card. Oops, I've got ink on me, so I better be careful. It's never good when you get it on your fingernails and start dragging it around to your project. I'm glad I caught it though, that could have been a disaster. All right, we are going to adhere these to the front of our card. So again, I'm just using a little multi-purpose liquid glue. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm just gonna stick it right about there. I'm going to take one of these little ones here while I'm working on this side. And I'm just going to tuck it right in there under that one so that it's sticking out just a little bit. And then moving on to another large one. This one is going to go somewhere. Trying to figure out where I want it to go here. Somewhere about like that. So I was trying to get this one over to the edge a little bit just to even it out. So that way you don't have your flowers all on one side. And we're going to take this other double leaf right here. And it's just going to go right there on top of that one. And I have this single one, let's see, go that way. It doesn't matter which way you go, I guess whichever way you prefer and that you like it. And this one is just gonna be a guessing game. It's just gonna go somewhere right about there. And then lastly, we're gonna put the other parakeet party on there. And this one, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this one in between these two. So it just goes right there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be like mine. As long as you get a nice little cluster of flowers there. All right, and these two we're going to glue together. So a little glue here at the bottom of the small flower. And it's going to go on here. Something like that. And then we're going to adhere it with our Stampin' Dimensionals. So anytime I'm using dimensionals on 2 pieces, that are glued together, I like to put one right across where they go together, just to kind of hold them in place. It makes me feel like they're just a little bit, oops, a little bit more secure. Of course, I guess the chances of it coming off are pretty slim, but I guess you never know. You never know what the postman decides to do with your letters and cards when you send them. I've had some that have arrived pretty rough, so we'll just make sure that that doesn't happen. And then this will go somewhere about there. Voila. Now that our flowers are on there, we're going to do the sentiment. So on your scrap piece of Berry Burst, you're going to stamp your sentiment Happy Birthday with your Versamark, and then you're going to dust it with your white embossing powder and set it in place with your heat tool. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate that on this video. I have already done that with mine, and it is right here on this side. So once you have that done, I guess you can pause it while you go do that. And once it's done, we're going to punch it out with the double oval punch. So I did not make that small enough. I didn't put it on the small enough little strip of paper, so I'm just going to cut some of this edge off. And make sure that I can get it in there nice and centered. That's much better. Punching out the happy birthday. And then we're going to do a white background here with the scallop. All right, and then we're going to adhere these two together. So that will go there like that. All right, and we needed a little bit of bling, so I'm using the Simply Elegant trim, and this is the silver one, what's left of my little roll here. So we're just going to tie a bow. Wow, my fat fingers here. Going to tie a bow, kind of large, I guess. So what is that? That is about 3 inches wide, 3-inch wide bow, something to that effect. Scissors, I'm just going to cut it off there. And this bow doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to attach it to the card with a glue dot, just to kind of hold it in place. And don't, like I said, don't worry about your bow being perfect. It's not really going to show. Just the edges of it are. So I'm going to lay it right here in this corner diagonally so that it still fits on my card. When I put it in an envelope, I want to make sure I can stuff it in there without a problem. So that's sticking off, and that's fine. We're going to trim that afterwards. Now we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this happy birthday, and since it's going to go over the center, you don't want to put a dimensional in the middle because it'll be right on top of that knot. So we're going to put our dimensionals on the outside, on both sides. Peel these off. And it's just going to cover up that knot. Just like that. You can move this wherever you want it to go. And trim up your ends so that your ends will fit in your envelope as well. All right, and the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more bling. And we're going to be using the Faceted Gems Trio Pack. These are really pretty. And add a little bit of elegance to it. So I used the, I think it's Lost Lagoon, if I remember correctly, on here. And this time we're going to use the more silver or white, not sure what they are. They kind of look white. I guess these would be more silver. So we're going to use the white ones. So just going to put one right down there. My little putty to cooperate. These are kind of heavy to do this little trick with. I'll just use my fingers. Put another one right there in the corner. And then this one's going to go up here in the opposite corner. Just like that. And that is it. So now you have one card made 2 ways. Thank you for tuning in and have a great day.